Welcome back to The Great Expanse by John Bat 426 here on YouTube, and it's always a pleasure to record these videos, to edit them, put my unique spin on them for your viewing pleasure, for your listening pleasure. And if you've liked the videos that you've seen thus far, hit the like button. Share these videos with other people that you know that like comic book related stuff as much as you do. Subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications. Which one? All. Not personalized or the one underneath, but all. So the next time a new video is dropped, you'll know about it second. I'll know about it first. Now, the bicep is alright, but I really like the forearm better. But anyway, one rep jab. Now, I said all that in one breath. I got my pleasantries out of the way quickly so that we can get to the heart of the matter. I mean, you've clicked on the thumbnail, you know what the video is about. Superman. Now, that's traditional Superman. Now, in the trailers, we heard so it's kind of a variation of John Williams' super popular Superman theme from the original 1978 starring Christopher Reeve, singular, and Margot Kidder, all right? And the late Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor. And I know I didn't mention this, but as you can see, I got a whole new setup because I'm in a whole new location. Kudos for me. And it's kind of early in the morning, so I don't want to be too loud for my new neighbors. Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to slightly make some alterations and maybe put some paraphernalia up, or maybe just put the green screen back up. I kind of like the green screen. I like tinkering with the different images and resizing my image and other images and stuff like that. Shut up, because I use the word resizing. Silence. But that's just to give a little background as to why the background is not the one you're familiar with, because I'm in a whole new location. I'm very excited about that. All right. But I've been talking about Superman the movie since James Gunn made his partial slate announcement in January of 2023. So now, 2.5 years later, okay, James Gunn has delivered Superman, which debuted on July 11th, 2025. All right. Pardon me for scratching my eye in front of you guys, but it itched. Now, I had the pleasure of watching the movie on the day it came out in Los Angeles, California. So I'll be showing some images of Cali, showing some brief snippets of my interaction. I went there to basically do a meetup of other YouTubers and people that I've met on Discord. And let me tell y'all, I had a blast. This was fun. This was an event that I wish would never end, but it had to, because life has to go on. You know what I mean? So we all flew our separate ways. But I will be meeting up with them again to watch Avengers Doomsday in 2026, okay? So maybe next time I'll do a video right there on the spot when I'm in LA, or wherever we go to do the meetup in 2026 for Doomsday, so it'll be fresher. You know what I mean? So you actually get that Cali riz. Yes, I'm up on slang. No, I'm like, but let's just get into this Superman movie review. I'm trying to think on where I want to start. So, I'm not Batman. Like, you know, Batman has like incessant prep time and he's always working. I don't really have that. I usually just go off the top, you know what I mean? So let's just go off the top regarding Superman. The visuals are breathtaking. The visuals, I don't want to say groundbreaking, but you buy the visuals. There's never a moment where it's like, oh, that's kind of, yeah. You know what I mean? There's even a part of the film where it diverts from Metropolis to a different location altogether. And by the way, this is a non-spoiler review. You might be saying, wait, why would you wait more than a week and do a non-spoiler review? Because that's what I'm going to do. The spoiler review will come, you know what I mean? So the visuals are amazing in this movie. This is the best Superman special effect that we've ever seen. This is the best special effects of him flying. Now, usually, traditionally, when you watch a Superman movie, he always takes off. So you can get a wide shot of, you know, maybe usually a small glimpse of the actor with just cloudy skies ahead of him. You never really see Superman flying at night in movies, you know what I mean? But generally, it's the actor against either a blue screen, depending on the time period, or a green screen. This movie you're seeing Superman fly up close and personal. Like this view right here is like my green screen behind me. I can show you like. So you're seeing like the wind whip him in the face or whatever. Technically, you might say, well, the wind shouldn't have any effect on his face because he's super strong, but who cares? I don't care about that. You know what I mean? So you see him flying low. You see the impact of his velocity on the ground, on the surface of the water. Because there is a scene, without spoiling, where he does fly to the Fortress of Solitude. And a lot of it is him kind of weaving or kind of skimming the surface as he's flying. It looks great. The visuals look great. We see, even in the battles, the landscape looks like it's really there, even though maybe there was some green screen there for the background. But it all looks decent. Now, remember, there was a part in the trailer where Superman says to the kaiju that's wrecking shop in Metropolis, he says, eyes up here. He took off vertically. I always had a problem with how that looked in the trailer. I did. I don't know why that one specific shot, but it always looked wanky to me. In the movie, I never even noticed it. Okay? And concerning the suit, concerning the logo, I had zero issue with his suit or the logo in live action. I didn't care. Now, when it was not solitary was the word before. When there's a still shot, then I notice it. It's like, you know what? Like when the Superman logo comes up in the movie, and it's done very well, the way it rises. When I'm looking at a static Superman logo, I'm like, I don't like that logo. I don't like that S. You know what I mean? But the visuals look amazing. The engineer who we saw in the trailer, the lady, I forgot the actress's name. Was it Angela Speaker, or was that her character's name? I don't remember. But she's called the engineer. Like, you saw her in the Fortress of Solitude in the trailer where she's like taking out some of Superman's robots. The CGI is executed very well. Because remember, all this stuff is going on. She's fighting these robots. Not really fighting them, but kind of carving through them like Ginsu. And Lex Luthor is just walking while this stuff is going. Like, that takes great direction. So props to James Gunn. It just takes great visual effects to pull this off. All right. So visual effect wise, the kaiju look good. There's never a shaky moment or a blurry moment where you say, hey, that's where the CGI begins and where the green screen ends. You know what I mean? I didn't notice any of that. All right. The destruction to Metropolis because of the kaiju and because of something else, it looks believable. Again, the visuals, maybe I should do the review like this. It just came to me. Remember, I said I'd do this off the top or off the rip, off the cuff. Even though I'm not wearing any cuffs, but you get the idea. Maybe I should break it down into segments and grade each segment and give a final grade. All right, again, this is a non-spoiler review. Visuals, A. Okay. The acting in the movie, I feel was very good. Remember, all I wanted, if I had a wish list or if I was sitting on Santa Claus's lap, but what I want out of the Superman movie, I said I want dramatic acting range from David Corenswet. That's the only thing I asked. I already expected him to have heat vision and freeze breath and fly and do terrific feats of strength because from the trailer you see he's fighting a kaiju, so he has to demonstrate flight because he's not as tall as a kaiju. And he has to demonstrate super strength to neutralize the kaiju. Elementary there, Watson. So the thing I wanted was dramatic acting range. And I feel like I got that. From his interview, his sit down with Lois Lane, where she's like, it was very old school too. She had a tape recorder, the audio recorder. He's like pressing the button, and he's like, let's go, Cronkite. I got that in that scene. Now, it was good acting. But there's a scene at the tail end of the movie where it's a soliloquy that David Corenswet's Superman delivers. And the acting is believable, but the scene feels preachy at the end, the tail end of the movie. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Now, I'll go over that probably more in the spoiler review. But still, David Corenswet does his thing as Superman. And there are other scenes. Superman's talking to Lois while, there's like a light show. I'll go into details as to what the light show is about. there's like a light show outside Metropolis, and it's dark where Lois and Clark are talking. And it's believable, the chemistry between Rachel Brosnahan and David Corenswet. I buy it. They have good on-screen chemistry, David Corenswet and Rachel Brosnahan. So as far as the acting goes, I'm gonna give it a B+. It's that good. Now you might say, wait a minute, John Bebb, you said you didn't like Nicholas Holt's performance as Lex Luthor.
They chose him. Let them die.
I did not like his performance in the trailers. His voice is the same, but when you watch it in context and you get a bigger picture of why he's saying things and where it's taking place, Nicholas Holt kills it as Lex Luthor. Not just verbally, but his behavior, the way he has minions and puppets under his fingers, or how he says, like, I'm not gonna say what he said, but I'll say in the spoiler review, which is not this one, says things like, fetch this, and people are just scurrying and scrambling to do his bidding. He's overseeing projects of mammoth proportions, because that's how traditional Lex Luthor operates. He does all these things, but no one else can see what he's doing. Now we know because we're watching the movie, but remember, Lex Luthor does all these things to stay clean in the eyes of the law. So nothing that he does can be traced back to him. So all the things that's going on, the fact that he's, appearing before different committees and legal bodies and governing agencies while plotting the destruction of Superman, it's so Lex Luthor. Nicholas Holt delivers one of the best Lex Luthor performances I've ever seen. Not because of just Nicholas Holt's acting, but because of everything that's going on that the character is involved in. It feels very Lex Luthor. He is the central antagonist of this movie. There's no question about it. All right. Now, the rest of the cast, they were okay. Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, he did what he was supposed to do. Isabel Merced did what she was supposed to do. Edie Gathegi, who plays Mr. Terrific, he is the standout supporting actor of the other cast members. You know what I mean? He is the Mr. Terrific is the standout. Okay. Even more than Anthony Carradine, who I thought was going to really nail it as Metamorpho. But Mr. Terrific's Edie Gathegi really is another standout actor in this movie. All right. So the acting, B+. B+. The costumes. When you're watching the movie and you're watching it in live action, you kind of don't really care until you go back and process what you've seen. Are the costumes terrible? No. Are they good? But again, we're looking at it with a wider lens when you're watching it in context in a film. You're like, wait a minute, why do you got jackets on? Mr. Terrific has a jacket on, Hawker has a jacket on, and Guy Gardner has a jacket on. And you realize that there's a reason for that. There's a uniformity to their uniforms, and it's for a reason. You'll find that out in the spoiler review in case you haven't seen it yet. So in the context of the movie, I don't care about how they appear. I'm only grading it in hindsight, you understand? Superman's outfit. Remember I said I wasn't really crazy about it? I didn't care in live action or in the context or the larger picture of the movie. So I will give the costumes a B, because I bought them as superheroes or supervillains, because you see the engineers kind of not catsuit, but it's basically just a black suit with different stuff on it. I don't really care how that costume looks, because if you really think about it, if you're a supervillain, why would you want something to stand out anyway? Do you have a costume design team as a supervillain? You know what I mean? Whatever. So costumes B. Okay. Here's where the grades start to drop. Now you might say, well, A for visuals, B+ for acting, and B for costumes, so it's already dropping. I'm talking about when the grades really drop. The script. The writing of this movie is its main flaw. So you might say, well, what was the problem with the writing? The story is very convoluted. There are a lot of things going on in this movie that do surround Superman, but when you think about the story of the movie, you're like, when you think about everything that happens in the movie, different situations that Superman finds himself in, you're like, why is this here? You're like, what is the purpose of this? Why is this here? You're going, wait a minute. It looks like Superman is in dire straits. And the way he escapes the situation, you're like, that makes no sense. That's almost dumb. It's like, what? How did this? What is this? So the writing, the script, the nonsense. And when I say nonsense in a superhero movie, I don't mean camp, because I like camp. I like corny stuff. But I'm talking nonsense. The nonsense of this movie, the stuff that really makes no sense and stuff that shouldn't even be in the movie, the writing and the script get D's. D's. A, B, C, D, D. For the writing and for the script. That is the primary flaw of this movie. And probably the most egregious crime of all is done to Superman's parents. His Kryptonian parents, and when you see the directing decision for his human parents, you're like, it makes you wonder if James Gunn just looks at Superman as a toy that he can just do whatever he wants with. And if you look at it deeper, you're going, maybe he doesn't really respect Superman, and perhaps somebody else told him to make Superman the first movie to introduce the DCU. These thoughts will really go through your mind when you see the movie and you see what he did with both of Superman's parents. I'm talking about the Kryptonian and the human parents. All right. When you see the way this movie diverts from the traditional Superman stories, you want to roll your eyes and suck your teeth. And it looks like he borrowed from other genres to put into Superman, even though these other genres look back and borrow from Superman. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So he borrowed from other genres to establish his Superman when other genres are established by borrowing from Superman. Superman should be the lender, not the borrower. Does that make sense? Again, that's another instance of the bad, poor script and the terrible writing. Some of it is terrible. Absolutely terrible. Let's talk about the characters. The characters. I don't know why I repeated that. Like the guy from Bronx did. Superman, the character. Lex Luthor, the character. Lois Lane, the character. Metamorpho, Green Lantern, Hawk Girl, the Engineer, the people. Those are the characters. All right, the people in the movie. I would give the characters, because they're strong characters. I buy the characters. I'll give the characters a B+. A B+ for the characters. Okay. So again, this is the non-spoiler review. I didn't really get into the plot or the details, but I gave grades for different elements of the film, of the movie. There are elements that are where the direction is very good. There are elements where the direction seems jumbled because of everything going on in the movie at the time. And you're like, wait a minute, how could he possibly do this? How could he do that? And this is a superhero movie. It's the fantasy, sci-fi genre. But you're even scratching your head going, that does not make sense for fiction. Don't make sense for fiction. So if you're a thinker, if you're a free thinker, independent thinker, you're going, I don't buy this. There are some things that you can't buy. Or maybe you can buy. Maybe you can turn your brain off. I don't turn my brain off. I'm sorry, I don't. All right. I accept what I see, but I don't go, oh, just watch with drool coming down. This is a good movie. My brain isn't engaged. No, I don't do that. So having said all these things, overall, I give James Gunn's Superman a B. A B. Now I'm going to let loose. I'm not going into spoilers, but I'm going to really let loose now. This is egregious. Right, like this. Wait a minute, you set the video up like this? Yes, because I'm going off the top. The fact that I gave Superman a B is utterly egregious. Superman should have been a home run. I'm sorry. Should have been a home run. I know in his interview he said, oh, I just want to get on base or get a double. No. this should have been a home run. And one thing that is also criminal about this movie is that it feels like a James Gunn movie. Same pacing, same beats, you know what I mean, as like Guardians of the Galaxy movies that he did. The feel of this movie is Guardians of the Galaxy 4. And that's a problem. Especially when this movie is the jumping off point. This is the launch pad for a new DC cinematic universe. If you're going to start with the Guardians of the Galaxy feel at the tip-off point, where does the universe go from there? I'm not saying the people he hired are going to be molded by his tone in Superman. I'm not saying that at all. But it's head-scratching. It's like, why would you start, like, why does it have this pace? Why is the pacing like this? Why is the tone like this? It's like, why didn't you differentiate Superman from your other movies? It's like, was it just to bring in the broader general audience? Like, you can't be the competition for Marvel and be just like Marvel. That's silly to me. Silly. Even though James Gunn is largely responsible for these new phases of the MCU, where it's like an ensemble cast, almost dark comedies with like one or two scenes of emotion, of like intense emotional moments, is very Guardians of the Galaxy, folks. It is. And again, this is depending on whether or not you've seen the movie. So the tone of this is Guardians of the Galaxy. James Gunn is letting you know with the musical choices, which are abysmal, that this is a James Gunn movie. I heard somebody say that James Gunn was the star of this movie because it's so James Gunn. And you cannot do that with a character like Superman. No, you can't. Superman's been around for, 87 years? And this is the way you modernize Superman, by making it one of your movies? See, you really have to step outside of your comfort zone. And you really have to think outside of the box as a filmmaker to put respect on Superman when you already have a preconceived way of doing movies. You have to, you have to adapt to Superman. You can't make Superman adapt to you if you want to put him in this proper perspective and in this proper light. Superman is a character. Is he super serious? Is he dark like Batman or the Punisher or Wolverine? No, he's not. He's a Boy Scout. He's cool. He's a do-gooder. But yet you still have to mold your movie around the core of who Superman is as a character. You must do this. If you do it the way James Gunn did it in this movie, you downgrade Superman because you're not putting the proper respect on who he is as a character. If I've never seen Superman and I walked into this movie, I would just think that Superman was just another hero. I would like this. Oh, okay, he can fly. All right, he can do this. All right. But there isn't one iconic moment in this movie for Superman. Not one. Now you might say from the trailer, but he's fighting a huge kaiju. When you see it, it's not an iconic Superman moment. I'll say this, without spoiling. The most iconic moment to me was a shot of Superman. A shot. I'm talking about a camera shot of it. That is the most iconic moment of Superman in this film. And the crazy thing is, he's doing a lot of stuff in this movie. So again, it goes back to bad script, bad writing, and ultimately, okay direction in certain elements of this movie. So again, Superman, B. But the B might as well be an F. Wait, was that F? Wait. A, B, C, D, E, F. I'm sorry. Might as well have been an F. If it's not an A for Superman, or a B plus maybe. Remember, I just gave it a solid B. It might as well be an F. So, those are my thoughts on the non-spoiler review. If you've seen the movie, hopefully what I said here will resonate with you, okay? Or maybe you don't agree at all. Maybe you think that this movie was an A or A plus. You know where you can put those comments. You know where those dissertations should go, those wordy, lengthy explanations, and just, I'm still thinking about the tone of this movie and how egregious it is. But again, you know where those comments go. But if you forgot, David Brent, please let them know where those comments go, sir. Thank you, Mr. Brett. Wernham Hall's finest, The Office UK. Do your part, I'll do my part. So The Great Expanse by John Bat 426 can and will expand. It's in the name.